Happy 9-year anniversary to Phantasy Star Online 2, and this year the way that they're celebrating is through an in-game event in New Genesis. Central City is now changed and it looks absolutely beautiful at night. There are seasonal enemies, which are just our basic enemies besides the rappies, but they have some pretty neat mechanics like being weak to lightning, an element that is otherwise not being used, and then the introduction to Xiandi, which is a play off of a previous NPC from base PSO2 called Sia. When you log into the game for the first time, you'll be met with a message from Xiandi, basically letting you know that she is your new quest taker and you should go speak to her. She's going to be in the middle of Central City. After you speak to Xiandi, she'll then let you know that she is conducting research on various special phenomenons that occur on Halpha, and that she requires your help gaining as much information as humanly possible. After which you'll get a tooltip that then talks about seasonal enemies. After the tooltip, you can then speak to her again to be able to take on the series of tasks or client orders, and this will actually be coming in 3 different parts. The first part is defeat seasonal enemies, and you're going to need to defeat 30 of them. The second part is you're going to have to defeat a dread enemy that is a seasonal variant, which has the symbol above its head. And then the third, which is defeat the Pedis Vera, which is marked with a symbol above its head. After defeating Pedis Veras, then you then speak to Xiandi again, and you are done with all of the available limited time tasks for the current week. Now, for those of you guys who might be new and you're not familiar with the Pedis Veras by name, you might know it as the urgent quest boss that appears every so often. By completing all of these tasks and killing enemies that are marked with the seasonal symbol, you'll then receive seasonal points. Every week, you are capped out at 99,999 seasonal points. This information can actually be found when you open up your menu. You normally see your battle power, your star gems, your premium. You'll then be met with a new tab that says 9th anniversary seasonal points. It'll tell you your current points and then your points earned this week. We were able to find out some of the best ways to be able to obtain these seasonal points besides doing all of your dailies and weeklies. Doing your dailies will net you about 1,000 seasonal points per day. And then completing both of your weeklies will then net you about 12,000 points per week. If you wanted to be able to grind the seasonal points to be able to cap out your points every single week to be able to make sure that you bought everything in the shop, then regular seasonal enemies can drop anywhere between 7 to 76. From what I was able to see, sometimes the 76 is actually multiple enemies dying at once, but that might have just been me. Seasonal rappies will be able to give you 7 points per. Trials that have bosses associated with them will give you 125 points each. Seasonal dread enemies have a range that can drop anywhere between 93, 187, and then 375. Those of you guys who were wondering, for the 375, it was the Didal Axe as well as Nex Alio. And the Nex Alio spawn that I'm referring to is the one that then spawns in Western Alio. For gigantic spawns, we had every single gigantics except for the Didal Axe gave us 250 each. The Didal Axe gigantics, on the other hand, gave us 500 seasonal points. For those of you guys who are wondering where the next Alio Gigantics is going to be spawning, that's not going to be available until the later half of the event. The second half of the event isn't going to be beginning until July 21st after the maintenance. For the first half of the event, the absolute best place to be able to farm for all of your seasonal points, besides doing urgents, gigantics farmings, or basically playing the game, is farming in Mount Magnus. Until July 21st, the only available combat zone that will include seasonal enemies will actually be Mount Magnus. After the 21st, then all of the combat zones will be able to be farmed for your pleasure. So once you got all of your seasonal points and you want to start spending them, you have to then return to Xiandi. Once you speak to Xiandi, there will be a second option that says exchange seasonal points for items. From here, you'll be able to exchange for things like star gems, twinkling ribbons, the sunny and moon heart stamp, the glisten weapons, the photon chunks, photon quartz, the exploit 1 augment capsules, might precision and technique 3s, alpha reactors, and end grinders. To be able to buy out the entire shop, you're going to need 245,000 seasonal points to be able to buy literally everything. Here's a couple of tips that I'm going to be able to give you so that way you don't wind up having to spend 245,000 points. Instead, you'll be able to reduce that by not buying the glisten weapons and only spending 165,000 points instead. Now, you might be confused on why I'm saying that, and that's because the glisten weapon series can actually drop off of any of the seasonal enemies. Because they're 3-star weapons, you might need to be able to check your inventory every so often because they will not appear as a rare drop. They'll just simply appear inside your inventory. That means, yes, it is possible to get these weapons with a fixa on them. Another cool thing to know is that the lightning exploit capsules can also be dropped from enemies as well. So if you wanted to be able to ignore getting the 50 capsules from the shop itself, then you can definitely farm them from enemies while you're farming for glisten weapons, as well as your seasonal points. because of the frequency of PSE bursts during rainstorms or thunderstorms while you're in Mount Magnus, it's almost a guarantee that you'll be seeing at least maybe a handful of these glisten weapons throughout the time that you're farming, and even more lightning exploit capsules beyond that. So currently, as of right now, from July 7th all the way to July 21st, this is the only information that you're going to need to worry about when it comes to the 9th anniversary event. Keep in mind that completing your tasks for this first week, as well as defeating enemies for the entirety of the second week, you will then attribute to points that will be gathered for the weblink event. You want to be able to see the status of the weblink event to see where the progress is for everyone currently involved. I'll be leaving a link down in the description below for you guys to be able to go ahead and see that. So remember, week 1, complete tasks. Week 2, you're going to be killing enemies. Pretty much this entire event is, hey, thanks for playing our game. Here's all the cool stuff that we're going to give you for doing what it is you're already doing, and you're going to profit from it. If there's any information that I wound up missing, please do me a favor and leave a comment down below. I don't think I missed anything, but there's always the chance that I'm, might have. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so very much for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful, and I'm glad to be back. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I'm out.